Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Sata Sri Srimad Srila Vaitharana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuranam Ki Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Okay, so regular announcement. So please keep your mobile into silent mode so that we are not able to hear it ringing. Okay? Otherwise it will create disturbance. Bande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakam Tat Prakasham Sritat Sakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Radhavind Goswami Vinamine Namaste Prabhupada Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Ramya Jananistarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva ca patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jantra vrajantamanupetamapetakrityam Dvaipayana virahakatarajuvava Putreti tanmayataya tarobhinedu Tam sarvabhutavidayam munimanatasmi Jasvanbhavamakila srutisharameka Adhyatmadipamatitirsatam tamannam Samsarinam karunayah puranaguhinam Tam vyasasmunupayami gurum muninam Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiyame Madeka Bandhumatsangin Madguro Manmahadana Manistara Kamalabhagya Madhananda Namastute Asadhu Sadhutada Premna Itkantaya Spura Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. So today we're going to begin from Canto 1, Chapter 7, which introduces the topic of prayers of Queen Kunti. But as I said in my students' class, we are speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to an assembly of the devotees. And normally, devotees should systematically study Srimad Bhagavatam from the beginning, so that they can get the utmost benefit of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, I have decided to quickly give you a brief about what is the subject matter discussed before chapter 7. It's always good to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam or study Srimad Bhagavatam in a meditative manner, because as we know, Krishna Swadhana Bhagavate Dharma Jnana Divishaha Kalonasta Krishamisa Purana Kavanodita. This Srimad Bhagavatam is none other than Krishna himself. Therefore, to meditate on the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam is as good as, is equal to meditating on the personality of Godhead. And this is how we can purify our existence. Today we will hear that when Vyasadeva was confused, even after discussing about the path of karma, jnana, yoga and other processes, still he was not satisfied, because he had not sufficiently glorified the personality of Godhead or devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. So this very act of remembering and focusing our mind on the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam is the remembrance of the personality of Godhead. And this is also an act of devotional service which can purify our mind and also help us to attain the ultimate success in our Krishna consciousness. Because we are discussing Bhagavatam in the assembly of devotees, therefore I will quickly take you through the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 1. Is that okay? You agree with me? Yes. Because we are not here rushing that we need to cover, just one verse here, one verse there. No, we should be very systematic. Okay. So as we know, this Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are discussing, this Bhagavatam was discussed by Sukadeva Goswami in the assembly of sages for Parikshit. And then in that assembly, Srila Sukadeva Goswami was present. He was a listener to the discussion between Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. And this Sukadeva Goswami, who listened in the assembly of the sages where Sukadeva Goswami spoke to Maharaj Parikshit, he is called Ugrasravasruta. Ugrasrava means a very strong sense of hearing. Ugra. And his father's name is Romaharsanasuta. Romaharsanasuta was the speaker of the Puranas, and coming in his succession, this Ugrasravasruta eventually spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to the sages in Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi. And this Sutta Goswami, when he was present in the assembly of the sages, when Sukadeva Goswami spoke, at that time, Sukadeva Goswami had benedicted him. He said, "You are listening very carefully, and in future you will be speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to the sages in Naimisharanya." So in that way, this Bhagavatam begins with the sages assembled in the forest of Naimisharanya with a desire to eradicate the ill effect of this age of Kali. Because by then this Kali Yuga has already begun, so now they were concerned about the destiny of the people of this age of Kali. So therefore, they had begun a prolonged 1,000-year sacrifice to eradicate the ill effect of this age of Kali. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam begins, Om Naimise Naimise Kshetre, in the forest of Naimisharanya. All these sages, Saunakadaya, Swargam Sattaya Lokaya Sahasra Samamasita. So they were involved in performing a sacrifice for thousands of years, desiring to benefit the people in this age of Kali. So you can ask, they are the sages, they didn't know that there is any other way to eradicate the ill effect of this age of Kali. When Sutta Goswami arrived, the son of Romaharsanasuta, Ugrasravasruta, in that assembly, they greeted him and gave him an elevated asana and requested him to speak Srimad Bhagavatam to them. Actually, in this first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, they say, Kshetrasmin Vaishnavi Vayam Asina Dirghasatrena Kathayam Saksanahare. Kalim Agata Adhyana Kshetrasmin Vaishnavi Vayam Asina Dirghasatrena So in this Vaishnava Kshetra, Naimisharanya, we have assembled why Kalim Agatamagya. We have understood that Kali Yuga has already started. Now, even though we have started this prolonged 1,000-year sacrifice, but Kathayam Satsangahare, we have our time to hear Krishna Katha. Therefore, they are going to ask 6 questions to Sutta Goswami. So in this connection, one point I would like to bring to your attention. The sages were thinking how to benefit the people of this age of Kali. Therefore, they were engaged in certain activity, which is a sacrifice. Similarly, in our day-to-day life, we are also engaged in different types of activities. Because we have to maintain our family, children, we have obligation to the society. So sometimes we, by mistake, think that is our prime necessity. That should occupy the prime objective. That is our prime objective. So we think it like that. Why? We think by being engaged in such kind of activities, we can actually create more auspiciousness, we can live happily, we can be peaceful. That is what everybody thinks. That is one aspect of your life. That is not the sole activity you should be relying upon when it comes to attaining the peace and prosperity in your life. Like therefore they say, Kathayam Sakshanahare. We are eagerly waiting to hear Krishna Katha. Similarly, you all devotees, I would like to thank you for coming after your hard work. Throughout the whole day, today is Monday, like weekday for you, you all are working, and still you have only a time to come and listen to this Bhagavatam. I pray to the sages in Naimisharanya and Sutta Goswami to give you this frame of mind so that you can also gain the benefit because you are following the footsteps of the sages in Naimisharanya. They had time for Katha. You all came on time. Definitely they will be very merciful to your gesture. So these sages in Naimisharanya, they ask 6 questions. And answer to these 6 questions is Srimad Bhagavatam. So first question they asked, Punsam ekam tata sreya tanna samsidumarasi. What is the absolute and ultimate good for people in general? Okay. Then second question they asked, Bhuri bhuri karmani srotabhyani vibhagasa adah sadhu pradsaram samudratya manusya. Bhuri bhuri karmani. There are many different activities or practices to be performed are recommended in the Vedic literature. And you have studied all the Vedic literatures. You are the authority in Shastra. Therefore, other sadhu pradatsaram samudratya manishya. By scrutinizing study of all these Vedic literatures, what you have ascertained is the essence of all scripture. Because we don't have time to read all these scriptures. You have read everything. And even if we study, you will be confused. Because different scriptures, they speak different things. So what is the essence? So please tell us, what is the essence of all scripture? Very interesting. People who do not know how Srimad Bhagavatam began, what exactly we are discussing on Srimad Bhagavatam, they take it very casually. Isn't it a very important question for us? Even if you go to different religious organizations today, they are also focusing on different shastra, they are into different kind of practices, and everybody feels they are also spiritual people. But here you see, if we know there are 20 dharma shastras, how much time do you have to read all these? And they're all big books, this thick. Where is the time for us to study and understand what is dharma? So they are saying, therefore, for us, in this as a Pali, please tell us, what is the essence of all scriptures? That means, anyone who listens or reads Srimad Bhagavatam, starting from the first canto until 12th canto, he will know the essence of all scripture. But in other words, we can say, anyone who systematically listens to Srimad Bhagavatam from first canto to 12th canto, he will gain the benefit of executing those activities which are mentioned in all the legal scriptures. That means that if we study Bhagavatam, if we listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no need of taking shelter of any other scripture. This is our glorious Srimad Bhagavatam. So this was question number 2. And then question number 3, they asked, for what purpose the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva? This is a very interesting question also, right? Many people in this world, they are confused about who Krishna is. So therefore they are asking this question, please tell us, why did he appear in the womb of Mother Devaki? Everybody knows he is Vasudeva Nanda. Why? For what purpose? And then the next question, 4th question they ask, tell us the act of the Lord, that is in the matter of creating this universe. That means how Lord is involved in the creation. So they are asking this question. And 5th question, they ask, describe the activities of the Lord and activities of the incarnations of the Lord. Because Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. When he comes in other incarnations, what are the activities he performs? In this Bhuvan, in this planet, he incarnates and different activities are performed by different incarnations. Please tell us about the activities of the incarnations. And then the last question, question number 6, was, where have religious principles taken shelter after Lord Krishna disappeared from this world? Krishna Sudham Bhagate Dharma Jnana Devishaha Kaunashta Rishamesha Prana. That is the answer. That is, Dharma has taken shelter from Bhagavad. Actually, Krishna, he disappeared, again he appeared in form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So they are asking, we want to know where have religious principles gone? People are searching this Purana, that Purana, this religious organization, that religious organizations, to find out what is Dharma. Dharma is there, narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam. This Krishna is speaking to us. So intelligent people, they focus on the study of Srimad Bhagavatam and only Srimad Bhagavatam. So when they ask these questions are related to Krishna. They were very much eager to hear about Krishna. Therefore, they are asking these 6 questions, which includes everything, all about Krishna. And when they ask this question, this is the end of chapter 1. Then in second chapter, Dikiri Uttaram Sutas Chaturnam Aha Teshvatha. In second chapter, Srila Sutta Goswami, he very quickly gives answer to 4 questions. There, basically, he responds to the 4 questions in brief by discussing Avidya Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, and Prema Tattva, that is Prayojana Tattva. And Avidya Tattva means the process, the Bhakti is devotional service, and Prema is the love of Godhead. So, these things have been discussed there in response. But in the beginning, Srila Sutta Goswami, he was very happy to hear such questions. Therefore, this is also an etiquette to be followed between the listeners and the speaker. Srila Sutta Goswami, he says, Munayo sadhu krishtovam bhavadbhir lokamandalam jat vita prashna samprashna janatma suprasidati. Munaya, oh dear sages, sadhu krishtovam, your question is worthy because bhavadbhir lokamandalam. Such kind of questions are very beneficial for the people, all people. It can bring auspiciousness to all. Jatkrita Krishna, because you have asked questions concerning Krishna. When people speak about Krishna, they listen about Krishna, that is how they can attain auspiciousness. The highest form of spiritual benefit can be drawn by speaking and glorifying about Krishna. And when people are engaged in discussing about Krishna, Krishna Samprashna, Janatma Suprasidati. That is the way of being completely satisfied and peaceful. So this is how he thanked them, and then he started to respond. And in response, as I mentioned, very briefly, he gave answers to the 4 questions. And then in the next chapter, in chapter 3, he was giving a narration about avatar. They had asked question about the incarnations of the Lord. She also lists different incarnations of the Lord, starting with Purusha. And after speaking about Purusha, then he says, these are the incarnations Lord come and their activities in a very brief. And then he says, so far I have narrated, I have given answer to your questions in very brief. But now I am going to give further explanations to your questions by referring to Srimad Bhagavatam. Soham was Sarveshyami Yathadhitam Yathamati. I am going to narrate Srimad Bhagavatam as I have heard from my Guru, Sukadeva Goswami. Yathadhitam Yathamati. As my intelligence permits, I have understood, I am going to narrate to you. Same thing we are also going to do here. As I have understood my Guru, from our devotees, I am going to explain. Therefore, in this program, you will see, we want to remain stick to the actual narration of Srimad Bhagavatam. We don't want to take this program as an entertaining program. But sometimes we can sing Hare Krishna mantra as a mantra. But be careful that we want you to get the utmost benefit out of hearing this subject. Therefore, we will try to the best of our capacity not to deviate our concentration from the subject matter. So sometimes we'll be narrating some stories which are related to it, sometimes we'll be speaking on philosophy, but that is all about Srimad Bhagavatam subject. Okay? So he said, I am going to speak to you about Srimad Bhagavatam. Obviously, question comes. We are talking about Bhagavatam. So they asked, in what period and what place was this literature was spoken, or when it was compiled, who compiled it? Because you want to speak about Bhagavatam. And they also asked about Sukadeva Goswami, because he had said that I have heard it from Sukadeva Goswami. So they are asking, this Sukadeva Goswami, who was Nirvikalpaka, he was not interested in worldly affairs, he was a self-realized soul, and he did not have any time to stay in somebody's house for a long time. Even if he goes to somebody's house to sanctify their house, he will stay there for the time period that is necessary to milk the cow. So how come this great personality was recognized by the sages, or when he was passing through Kuru and Jambal provinces, he was looking like a made, dumb and retarded man, but still he was given access to the assembly and he spoke to Maharaj Parikshit. How was it possible? Such a great soul, he was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So please tell us about him. And they said, we know Maharaj Parikshit, he was not an ordinary person. He was not an ordinary king. He was a Mahabhagavata. Being a Mahabhagavata, why did he decide to renounce everything? He came and sat on the bank of Ganges, fast until death. Why did he do that? Why would he do that? Being a great devotee of the Lord. So when they ask these questions, so they are asking question about the appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kasmin Yuge, which time and which place, and the speaker is Sukadeva Goswami. They want to know about Sukadeva Goswami. They also want to know about Maharaj Parikshit. So when they ask this question, then Srila Sukadeva Goswami, he started narrating about how this Sukadeva, Maharaj, Vyasadeva, who had an ashram on the bank of Saraswati, that was Somnapras, and he once observed there was an owl of a millennium, and he, being Paravaravida, means he the Rishi. Rishis are those who are able to see future and past as well as present. Present we can know, right? But we cannot know past and future. So he could see that Vyasadeva could see through his transcendental vision how everything material is deteriorating. People lifespan is reducing and they are into all sorts of bad practices because of the lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated on the welfare of the living entities. Then he saw that the sacrifices which are mentioned in the Veda are the only means to purify the mind of the people. Therefore, he thought of dividing the Vedas, and he divided the Veda. Originally, Veda was only one vast body of knowledge. Then he divided into Rig, Sam, Yajur and Atharva, and again he further divided it into Puranas, and then even he could see that Three Sudra, Dijavandhuram, Praina Sudhi Gochara, even three women, Sudra, and those who are unworthy in Brahmana society, unworthy of Brahmana, for them there is no access to the Shruti. Therefore, Kripaya, he being merciful, he compares not Bhagavatam. Sorry, he compared Mahabharata, Bharata. So you can imagine this person, he is thinking of doing all good for people. Therefore, he divided the Veda, again Puranas, Mahabharata. After doing so much hard work, still he was not satisfied. Then he was thinking about himself. Well, I am engaged in doing good, but why I am not being satisfied? I have followed all the principles. I have worshipped my Guru. I have done my Yajna, Agnihotra, and I have done everything correctly. But still I am not satisfied. Do you sometimes ask yourself this question? I have done everything correctly, to the best of my ability. Still I am not satisfied. Is it applicable to you all? Yes. So listen, the same thing happened to Vyasdev also. You perform some activity thinking everything should be alright in your life. But still, somewhere it goes wrong. Sometimes people say, Bhagavatam, you know what is Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is going to give you life direction. You will never be confused. Vasudev was confused. We are also confused. And when he was confused, then because he was a great devotee of the Lord, so by Lord's inspiration, his Guru Maharaj came to his ashram. Who is his Guru? Narada Muni. And when Narada Muni came, Narada Muni understood his disciple is now in confusion. So he said, so, how are you? Is everything alright? Are you well? He could see that disciple is not in a good condition. But when Guru Maharaj came, he greeted his Guru, he offered him worship and gave him a nice place to sit. And then he, before started to inquire from his Guru said, well, desiring to benefit the whole world, what you have done is simply in the name of dharma, you have encouraged for sense gratification. So you have actually misguided people. Similarly, in the name of doing good for our dependent people, we do so many things that may not be actually helping them. Therefore he said, you should compile Srimad Bhagavatam, which is going to be a description about the glories and qualities of the personalities of Godhead. And that is the only way how you can be happy and satisfied. That means, again, the message comes to us very clearly here. When we get confused, don't worry about confusion. One confusion is created because of you have involved yourself in a set of particular activity. And then you are trying to find another solution by performing another set of activity. Right? Then there is another problem created. Then you try to find another set of activity to solve that problem. That is what people do in this world, right? But Bhagavatam says karmana karma nirhara. You cannot karma, you cannot find a solution to your karma by another karma. Okay? Therefore, put that problem aside for the time being. Come, open Prabhupada's purport, Bhagavatam, and read it continuously. Consult your Guru. Then you will see you will be perfectly qualified to deal with the problems. In fact, by the mercy of Krishna, your Guru will come and he will help you, will guide you. That's what happened to him. And then when Narad Muni, he told him, that is the kind of discussion continues in chapter 5, Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasakaya. He says that only and only bhakti can help eradicate the suffering of the people of this age of Kali. And he then told him that I was a Dasiputra and my mother was engaged in serving the Bhakti Vedantas during 4 months of Chaturmasya. And I was serving them. And these Bhakti Vedantas, these yogis, the devotees, they are very compassionate upon me. They engaged me in their service. And after they complete their Chaturmasya Vrata, they initiated me into a mantra, and then when they left, actually I attained perfection by chanting this mantra through their mercy. He just briefly tried to explain, but Vyasadeva became very much inquisitive. Well, now you are Narad Muni, you are talking to me about your previous life. How do you remember your previous life? Can you just tell me something more about it? Then he went on discussing in great detail about his previous life. He said that when I was the son of an night servant, one morning my mother, while going for milking the cow, she was bitten by a serpent, and then that's how she left her body. And after that, I did not have anyone except the Lord. I left my home as a small boy. At the time, he was only 5 years old. Then he kept on narrating how he was meditating on the personality of Godhead. And then time came when Lord appeared to him. Therefore, he says, Kale Kala Pral Avut Tarit Saudamini Jatha. A devotee meets with death as lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. That means a devotee simultaneously leaves his material body and he attains his spiritual body. In that particular verse, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that devotees sometimes they think about, oh, what is my swarupa? Right? A question. See, Bhagavatam said, you don't worry about it. You just follow your Guru's advice, how he has asked you to perform your bhakti. This is the proof. Narad Muni. And he just followed his Guru's instructions as it is. And he continued with his practice. When he was leaving his body, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, when he left, immediately by Lord's mercy, he gained his swarupa and he went to the spiritual world. He became Narad Muni. So similarly, the devotees' spiritual swarupa will be automatically revealed at the time by the mercy of Krishna. So in that way, he
left. Now Vyasadeva knows what he has to do. Then Vyasadeva, he enters into ashram, and after doing achaman, you know what is achaman? We take water on the right palm and we sip it 3 times by chanting Vishnu's name. Kesavaya, Narayana, Madhavaya. It's like that. So, before any spiritual activity you perform, you need to purify yourself by chanting this mantra and performing achaman. So he did achaman, he took bath on the river Saraswati and did achaman. Then he started to meditate. How? This is samadhinasta samadhinano smrata vicheshtitam. When he met with his guru had instructed how to meditate, what to do. So he followed his guru's advice, and as he meditated, bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranite male apasya purusham purnam mayam chatadapasya. As he meditated by following bhakti, he was able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, and Maya, his external energy, which was under his control, Lord's control. He saw that. And also he saw how the living entities are suffering by thinking they are product of this material nature. So by seeing this, Vyasadeva, he became compassionate, and then he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. Somoha Bhayava. This Srimad Bhagavatam can eradicate previous distress that are coming at the present moment, and distresses which are waiting in future. Shoka, Moha, Bhaya. Everything will be eradicated by studying Srimad Bhagavatam. That Bhagavatam was compiled by him. Here a question can be asked, well, that means there is no Bhagavatam before? No. There was. But in a very compressed version, he actually edited, he expanded on, because he got the blessing from his Guru. So that is what we have got today, the expansion, the edited one. He edited it. Bhagavatam is eternal. Okay. So in that way, he completed Srimad Bhagavatam. Then he said he taught it to his son, Sukadeva Goswami. And who was Sukadeva Goswami? Atma Ramastamana Yadhirgranthati Rukrame Kurvanti Ahitukun Bhaktim Itham Bhuta Gunahari. Such is the glories of the personality of Godhead, that even those who are Atmaramas, who are self-satisfied souls, they can even take pleasure in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So, when he spoke about Sukadeva Goswami, then the qualities of how Sukadeva Goswami was attracted to it, he says, Harir Guna Kittamati Bhagavan Badarayani Adhyagan Madhakyanam Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. This is Sukadeva Goswami, who was very dear to the devotees of Vishnu, or devotees of Vishnu were dear to him. Either way you can say. That means when somebody becomes very loving to the devotees of Vishnu, they will get the mercy of the Lord. So here they said that his mind was attracted to hearing the glory of the Lord. As we know, this Sukadeva Goswami, who was in the womb of his mother for 16 years. And he was not coming out because he was a Brahmanubhavi. He was thinking, if I come out, then I will be in the middle of this Maya samsara. I don't want to come out. Then his father had to promise him by inviting Krishna. Krishna promised him, no, you come out, there's no problem. As soon as he came out, he became sannyasi. He left home. He went to the forest. His father is thinking, well, I have compiled this Srimad Bhagavatam. I am thinking this son will study it. Then now, soon after he was born, he left. So, what am I going to do? Then he taught Srimad Bhagavatam verses, 2 verses. Oho Vakiyam Sanakala Bhutam, that verse, that describes about Krishna's mercy. And another verse, Barahapiram Natavarabahu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibhrabha Saganakapapisam Vaijayantim Chamalam Randhan Venuradhar Sudhaya Purayan Gopavindai Vrindaranyam Sapadaranam Rajisadagita Kirti. This discusses about little Krishna Dhyan. It discusses about how, after completing his Gocharan pastime in the forest of Vrindavan, Krishna, being accompanied by his Gopashakha, bringing the herd of cows back to Nanda Bhavan. So that's a very beautiful narration how he is coming. So when he heard these narrations about Krishna, Hare Guna Kirtanati, he was automatically drawn to these people. Can you tell me more about what you are saying? Oh, I want to know more about it. Then said, come with us. We don't know more about it. Somebody else has taught us. That's why we know. Then he came and read such a vast literature from his father Dasratha. Again, don't get panic. Oh, Bhagavatam is such a big book, 12 volumes. I don't know where I will have time to read all this or not. Just be patient and find a qualified devotee and read under the level guidance. You can really taste the nectar. Bhagavatam is full of nectar. Really, Bhagavatam is nectar. Amrita. This is not, if you say Amrita, that is also not good. That is beyond Amrita. In Krishna, you are connecting with Krishna. So he was attracted to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is how you can see in the 4th chapter, the question came. Okay, now again I'm going to give you a brief. Sages asked the questions. Sutta Goswami, he first gave a brief answer to the questions. Then he said, I am going to give more elaborate explanation to respond to your questions by referring to Srimad Bhagavatam. Then the sages asked the question, okay, how and which time this Bhagavatam was narrated, and why did Parikshit Maharaj, he left everything, what about Sukadeva Goswami, they asked his questions. So now, so far, we have heard about what? Appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? That was the question asked by the sages. So now, after completing this section, now he is going to narrate the next part. And now he is going to answer the other questions. What is the other question? The next question was about Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. So, tasya putra maharogi sarvadin nirvikalpaka ityadi prashnasya uttaram. So, when he started speaking about Sukadeva Goswami, before he is going to narrate how he met with Maharaj Parikshit and what happened to Maharaj Parikshit, that he was cursed by the Brahma boy, all these things going to be discussed later on, but now he is going to introduce the topic about Maharaj Parikshit. And in introduction, he says, Parikshito tharajarse janma karma vilapanam samsthan cha panduputranam vakshi krishna kathodayam. Parikshito tharajarse janma karma vilapanam. They had asked about the birth, activities and deliverance of Maharaj Parikshit. Now he is saying, I am going to speak about the birth, activity and deliverance of Maharaj Parikshit. And why? Bhakti Krishna Katha. When I speak about this subject, it will automatically give rise to Krishna Katha. Means automatically Krishna Katha is included in such discussions. You wanted to hear about Krishna? Now I am going to speak about Krishna. So, having said that, Srila Sutta Goswami, now he begins the narration. Jadam vidheko ravasinjayanam vireshvathe viravatim gateshu brigadarat viddhagadavimarsho bhagno rudande dhritarashtraputre bharto priyam Pasyan Krishna Sutanam Swapatam Siramsi Upaharadvi Priyamevat Tasya Jugositam Karma Vigarhayanti. This is the beginning. This is a kind of introduction which is going to lead to the prayers of Queen Kunti. So far we have covered from chapter 1 until chapter 6 and the beginning of chapter 7, where Srila Sutta Goswami concluded saying he compared Srimad Bhagavatam and he taught to Sukadeva Goswami. Now, further discussion is going to come in future. Now he is going to introduce the chapter about Maharaj Parikshit. So, here we need to also know a little bit history behind how this thing is coming in. Actually, Bhagavatam is a kind of essence. Sometimes Bhagavatam thread is found in Mahabharata, in some other literature also. So here there is a link from Mahabharata. In Mahabharata it is explained that there was a king by the name Santanu. He was the king of Bharatavarsha. Bharatavarsha means whole world at that time. Okay? And he begot a son in the womb of Ganga Devi, whose name was Devabrata, who will later on become Vishnu. And this Santanu Maharaj, he became attracted to a woman who was Matsyagandha Kanya, that is Satyavati. And he wanted to marry her. But when he proposed to the father of Satyavati, then the father said, "No, you have a son. If you want to marry my daughter, you have to ensure me that the son who is going to be born in the womb of my daughter should become the king." But Maharaj Santanu was thinking, how is it possible? I have an elder son. according to the tradition, elder son is supposed to become the next successor. So he is going to become the king. I cannot do that. So at the same time, he wants to marry the girl, but because the father has given a condition that if you don't allow the son to be born from the womb of my daughter to become the king, I will not give my daughter. So he doesn't know now what to do. So he was very depressed. And he was not performing his kingly duty properly. So Devabrata, he noticed this change in his father. And one day, he spoke to his father. He said, my dear father, I know what is the problem. I am the main disturbance for you because I am there, that's why you are not able to marry Satyavati. He said, I bow before you. I will remain brahmachari for the rest of my life. Why? I am not going to become the king. Neither anyone who will be born to me is going to become the king. Right? Young eldest son, no? If he gets married, then somebody else will become the son afterwards also. So that means even though that son of Satyavati will become the king, but afterwards maybe there will be kind of a disturbance. So just to clarify the doubts, he said, I am not going to become the king, and you marry her, and her son will become the king, and I will remain lifelong brahmachari. Just imagine what a sacrifice Devabrata did. He was the son of a king, and he was actually the successor. He was qualified to become the king, but he renounced this kingly opulence. This is how you see in the pages of Vedic literature how great souls had dedicated their life. So he said, I will not become the king. So then he actually got a boon from his father. His father was very happy. He said, since you have sacrificed this kingly opulence for me, therefore I give you a boon. Whenever you desire, you can only leave your body. It's amriti. So anyway, after that, Santul Maharaj, he married Satyavati, and in the womb of Satyavati, he gave birth to two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada was killed by the Gandharvas, and this Vichitravirya, he married to the two daughters of Kashiraj, Ambika and Amalika. In that marriage was also, actually Vishnudev helped him to secure these two daughters of Kashiraj. And Vichitravirya, he left his body untimely, before there was any child. Now you can see, Chitrangada is dead. Vichitravirya is also dead, there is no son. And Vishnudev, he is brahmachari. Now there is nobody to occupy the throne. What a tragedy. Then Satyavati, she intervened. And she requested her son Vyasadeva to help mediate the sons in the womb of Ambika and Amalika. Here you should know that before Satyavati got married with Santul Maharaj, she had given birth to a son, that is Vyasadeva. So in this present context, if we see, it is quite confusing how is it possible? Right? But you should know that if you read, I'm not going to narrate in details, but I want to give you the essence to eradicate the confusion. In those days, there were certain activities which were permitted in Shastra, and when it comes to some divine personalities helping somebody to get a child, it's not that they had to come through physical union. Like today also you will hear, Kunti Maharani, she had a boon from Durvasa Muni, that she could chant mantra and invite any deity she wants. And when Pandu Maharaj was cursed, then Kunti Maharani could not get a child. And then Pandu Maharaj requested Kunti Maharani that you have received mantra from Durvasa, now you should chant that mantra so that our dynasty will be protected. But Kunti Maharani said, no, I will not do that. And we will discuss that later on. It's coming. So here what is happening? Now Satyavati is requesting her son Vyasadeva. Actually, the Parasar Rishi who actually gave birth to Vyasadeva in the womb of Satyavati was not like what you see in the modern day people do. That was divine birth of Vyasadeva. So Satyavati requested her son Vyasadeva that you should now intervene. You should be a child in the womb of your sister-in-law. And Vyasadeva did that. He helped Ambika to give birth to Dhritarashtra, and he helped Ambalika to give birth to Pandu, and in the womb of the maidservant of Ambika, he gave birth to Vidur. In Kali Yuga, these activities are prohibited. Aswamedham, Gavalambam, Sannyasam, Purvoktrikam, Devarena Sudotpati Kaupancha Vivarjayat. In Dwapara Yuga, it was permitted under certain circumstances, one is allowed to be a child in the womb of his sister-in-law. But that is prohibited in this age of Kali. Now the question can be asked, why? Try to understand. The people in the age of Dwapar were not as degraded as the people in this age of Kali. Vyasadeva could disguise himself. He could change his form just to fulfill the order of his mother, and he could beget a child without getting attached to the women. Okay? That was the situation of Dwapara. Nowadays people cannot even conceive. How is it possible? Right? No, it is like that. Our position is very much degraded, that's why we cannot understand. So he was not, he just went once and that's it. He was totally forgotten about his situation afterwards. So that was dharma at that time. Because to protect the throne of Hastinapur, the Bharatavarsa, it was necessary at that time. So he did that. But in Kali Yuga, that is prohibited. So we are clarifying the doubts. So then, after they were born, Pandu Maharaj, Vidura and Dhritarashtra, in due course, Pandu Maharaj became the king because Dhritarashtra was blind since birth. He cannot become the king. So by consulting Vishnu Dev, Vedavyas, then Pandu became the king. of Hastinapur. And then one day Pandu Maharaj was in hunting expedition and he shot an arrow to a deer. When these two deers were in union, these two deers were Rishi and Rishipatni. In form of deer, they were in union. And when the deer left his body, the sea deer, he became very upset. And he cursed Pandu Maharaj that since you have killed my husband while we are in union, therefore, whenever you attempt to unite with your wife, you will die. Oh, that was a big curse to him. So now you see what is going to happen. So even though Pandu Maharaj was married, but he was not able to have any child. As I mentioned, Kunti Maharani, she had the boon. So Maharaj Pandu, he requested Kunti Maharani, now you can call for the demigods. She said, no, I am not going to do that. Because Kunti Maharani was very much devoted to her husband. And then Pandu Maharaj, he said, Kunti, you don't think that the demigods have to, interact with you like normal human being to receive the baby. No, sometimes they will just chant some mantra or they will look upon you. That's how you will become pregnant. And that is according to dharma. And they will be regarded as my son. So then, upon the request of Pandu Maharaj, Kunti Maharani, first she called for Dharma Devata. And Dharma Devata, he just came and he glanced. And Kunti Maharani was conceived. And he gave birth to Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira Maharaj. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj was born, there was a voice from the sky that this child is going to become the topmost religious person in the whole world. And then after that, again, by the request of Pandu Maharaj, she called by Devata. And Bhima was born. And when Bhima was born, again, very interesting thing happened. The Akasmani, the voice from the sky said, this boy will become very stout and strong and he will hold the strength of 10,000 elephants. And it is narrated that, you see, after giving birth to the baby, Kunti Maharani, she carried the child on her lap and she was going to Ganga, to the river actually. And at that time, a lion roared very heavily. And Kunti Maharani became very much afraid upon hearing the roar of the lion. And that's how the baby fell from her hand. And the baby fell on a rock. And the rock was smashed to the pieces. And baby was still protected. So this is a book Bhimsen is from his birth. Okay? So they are not ordinary souls. Then again, third time, when she called Indradev came and Arjuna was born. Again, the blessing was given to him. Then Pandu Maharaj told, okay, now you have got the child. You should also help your sister, Madri. Pandu Maharaj had two wives, Kunti and Madri. He said, neither Madri can get any baby without your support. So please help her. Then she invited Asmi and Kumar. That's how she got twin baby. That's how they became 5. Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul and Sahadev. So Pandu Maharaj was happy and everybody became happy. So he was living in the forest for some time. It happened in the jungle actually. So then one day there was a birthday party being celebrated in the jungle. That was Arjun's birthday party. And everybody was there. Big festival is going on. So many people are there. And then by the will of the providence, Pandu Maharaj had to leave his body. As you know, when somebody is cursed, a curse has to come true. Right? So it so happened that on that day when such a nice festival is going on, Pandu Maharaj was with Queen Madri and he expressed his desire to unite with him. And Madri said, no, you should not do that because there is a curse from the king, from the Rishipatni, he will die. But as I said, by the will of the providence, as he attempted, then he had to leave his body. So now Pandu Maharaj left his body and Kunti and Madri. Then Kunti said, I should enter into the funeral pyre. Because at that time, Sati Pratha was there. Madri said, no, you should not do that. I should do that. Because of me, Pandu Maharaj left his body, that's why I should enter. And you should take care of the children. Kunti said, no, I am the eldest, I should. Then finally they decided that Madri said, Kunti, I am not as great as you. If I remain alive, I may difference between your child and my child because I am not so good. Therefore, I should leave body. You should take care of the children. I know you will not differentiate between my children and your children. Then it was so decided. So, Madri, he entered into the funeral pyre along with Pandu Maharaj. Now, Kunti Maharani, she is alone with 5 small children. So then he returned back to the palace. When she came back, Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, everybody, they said, no, how is it possible? There is a curse. These are not Pandu's sons. So they are bad mouthing. So whole city got involved. And then the rishis, they all came, and it was confirmed that no, they are the sons of Pandu. They should be accepted as the bona fide heir of Pandu Maharaj. And after confirmation, then they are given entry to the palace, and Kunti Maharani was staying there. Even though Kunti Maharani and the five of her sons, they stayed in the palace, but Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they always wanted to wipe out their existence. It so happened one day they were on a picnic on the bank of the Ganga, and Duryodhana, he brought some food, laddu actually, mixed with poison, and he fed Bhima. He was very much, afraid of himself. So he wanted to kill him. And then Bhimsen, after eating the laddu, he became unconscious. They threw him into Ganga and ran back to him. That Bhima is dead now. But Bhima, anyway, there's a long story. He was in Ganga while floating, unconscious. He came to the Patala where the Nagas were there. And the Nagas started biting Bhimsen. And because Bhimsen was poisoned So when he was bitten by the snakes, so he became alive. And he was grabbing one snake and biting another snake. He was beating with the snake. The snakes also became very much afraid, very much frightened. They said, oh my God, they went back to Vasuki. They said, there is a very strange personality has entered into our kingdom. As we bite this fellow, he became more strong. And he started beating us. We don't know who is this guy. Then Vasuki said, okay, don't worry. Just bring him to me. We will see who is this person. And then there, in the presence of Vasuki, he was given the permission to drink the Amrita from 8 kundas. And there are many kundas actually. He was asked to drink the nectar. He said, as many kundas as you can drink. Just drink. You will get, if you drink 1 kunda, you will get the strength of 2,000 elephants. So he drank 8 kundas, sorry, 4 kundas. Okay? That means he got the strength of 8,000. Right? Each is 2,000. And then previously he had already strength of 2,000. Total he gained the strength of 10,000 elephants. And then with great ornament and good decoration, they decorated him very nicely and gave him a lot of jewels and gifts. Then they sent him back. Now himself is back in the Hastinapur. And everybody, they were surprised to see what happened to him. But Duryodhana definitely he was not happy to see him right back. Then after some time, Dhritarashtra said to Yudhishthira, he said, my dear son, I have already 100 sons and you are all 5. And always there is a fight going on. I am going to make some arrangement. I am going to construct a house in Varanasi and you all live there happily. And they will stay here, the 100 sons. It was a trick played by Dhritarashtra. That house was made of lac. And it was so conspired that when the Pandavas along with Kunti Maharani, they will live in that house, then they will set the home to fire and that is how they will leave their body. And Vidura, he knew all these things. Because Vidura was actually involved in the construction of that house. And he knew why this house is being constructed. Why Pandavas are sent to live in Varanasi. The day Yudhishthira Maharaj along with Pandavas, they were leaving to Varanasi, Vidur, he spoke a language which is called Mretsa Bhasha, whatever that language may be. But nobody could understand except Vidura and Yudhishthira. The meaning of that language was, Vidura said, when there is a fire in a place, then the rats who stay in the hole which has an escape outside of the fire zone, they can save their life. That means he gave a hint. My dear Yudhishthira, when there is a fire in that house where you are going to reside, you can find that a hole from the house which is exiting the forest and you can escape from that house. So Yudhishthira Maharaj got the message. So when they came to Varanasi, one day he called Bhima and other brothers and Kunti Maharani. He said, well, we are sent to this place to be burnt in this house. Anyway, one day we will leave our body when the house is burned. Why not we make the arrangement before misfortune comes to us? Bhima said, all right, I will burn this house and we will escape. And he explained, Bhima was so strong. First of all, he set fire in the house, and he took two brothers in his two hands and other two brothers in his shoulder and another brother in his head, and Queen Kunti at his back. Okay? Like this, he escaped through the wall. They disappeared. And next morning, big news came. Now Barnabas is burnt to ashes, and they found there were 5-6 dead bodies. So everybody felt Pandavas are now dead. Nobody knew they had escaped. So what are those dead bodies? On that very night, there was a lady who was jungle lady. She was, it was winter time. So she came to take shelter at the veranda of that house with her 4 sons. And when the house was set in fire, so they also burned to ashes. But their asthi, the skeleton was still there. And everybody thought, now Pandavas along with Kunti, they are dead. So they escaped the house and they are living in disguise. While living in disguise, they came to a village where they took shelter in a Brahmin's house. That is near Ekachakra. Okay, if you come to Ekachakra, then we can help you visit that place. And where they are residing in that village, nearby that village, there is a demon called Baka, who was regularly harassing the citizens of that village. So there is an agreement made between the demon and the villagers. Please, you don't disturb us. Every day we are going to send you a cartload of food with 2 bulls and 1 man. You eat everybody and remain satisfied. He said, okay. So from that day on, there is a schedule made. One day the food will go from one person's house, next day from next person's house. So in this way, there was going on. When the Pandavas came to live in the Brahmin's house, that was the day when the Brahmin was supposed to send the food for the demon. So everybody is thinking, who to go? The mother is saying, I should go. Father is saying, I will go. The children are saying, we should go. But who can go? And Yudhishthira Maharaj heard them speaking. Then he understood. If we send Bhima, everything will be done very nicely. We are residing here in this Brahmin's house in disguise, and Bhima has not eaten for many days. He needs a lot of food. And this is a good opportunity for him. And also he will kill the demon. We know. Then when they discussed with the host said, how is it possible? But Kunti said, no, don't worry. I will send my son. I know he will kill the demon. And he will know this also. Then finally, it was agreed that Bhima is going to go. And Bhima, he took the food. And while going on the way, he finished everything. He was very hungry because he did not get such food for many days. And then when he reached the demon, when demon saw a man is coming without any food, he became very angry. And there was a fight between Bhima and that Baka demon. And they did know Bhima would easily kill the demon. And the news spread all over. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj said, well, before we know, people know that we are here, we should better escape this place. Then they were living here and there. And in the meantime, the Swayamvar ceremony for Draupadi was decided. And Vyasadeva came to them. Vyasadeva said, look, now this Swayamvar ceremony is going to happen, so you also go and participate. In Pandava, they became ready. They were in the guise of a Brahmana. They were wandering in the forest. So they came to the Swayamvar. only Brahmanas and Kshatriyas were allowed to go to the Swayamvar ceremony. So the Pancha Pandavas came, Duryodhana, Karna, his associates, Krishna and Balaram also came. And when the Swayamvar started, so many sons of the king, they were trying to win Draupadi. How to win Draupadi? There was a post, and on top of the post, there is a fish moving, and the fish was reflected on the water in the bottom. So anyone who wants to win Draupadi, he has to pass the test. What is the test? There is a big ball. That person has to string the ball and look down in the water, the fish reflection, and he has to shoot arrow to the eye of the fish. Can you imagine? Anyone who can successfully shoot the arrow to the eye of the fish by looking at the reflection on the water, looking downward. So many Kshatriya, they couldn't even leave the ball. What to speak of stringing it and shooting the fish. Some of them, even though they were successful in stringing, but they could not shoot the fish eye. When Karna came, Draupadi said, no, he is not allowed to participate in this. Because we don't know what is his birth. We don't know who is his father. I am not going to make him. That is where Karna was offended. And then Arjuna came. Arjuna could very easily lift the ball and string it. Then looking at the fish reflection in the water, he could shoot. And he won the battle. And now they are going to get Draupadi. And in this time, Krishna and Balaram, while sitting in their place, Krishna is telling Balaram, this person is looking like Maharaj Yudhishthira, right? Blood and young. This boy is looking like Arjuna. You see, Krishna sometimes can be so humorous. When the news spread that now Pandavas are dead, he also cried. He knows everything what is going on. That's why Krishna is Advaita Karma. You don't understand what he wants to do. Anyway, then finally they knew that they are Pandavas. Because there is a kind of tension. How can Brahma marry a Kshatriya daughter? No, Kshatriya should marry a Kshatriya daughter. Brahma should not be allowed. Then finally when they came, they saw Arjuna had this mark on the shoulder. When a Kshatriya carried the bow, the mark was created by the string of the bow. So they understood they are Kshatriya, they are not Brahmanas. And then they knew they are Pandavas. That's how they said, okay, now everything is resolved. So again they came back and everything was happening nicely. Then he gave half of the kingdom. Now Dhritarashtra understood. I have to give them. So he gave them half of the kingdom. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, as you know, he is Dharmaraj. He ruled the kingdom so efficiently. He expanded the kingdom and everything was flourishing. Duryodhana was not happy. He told his father, we should call them for gambling. Because Kshatriyas are allowed to gamble. And Sakuni was a very, tricky fellow. He knew how to play dice to defeat the opposite party. And then Dhritarashtra, he called Maharaj Yudhishthira. He said, well, this is part of the Kshatriya life. Let us gamble. Even if you win or there, it doesn't matter. Let us play. It's a family game. You treat him. And as you know, when he took part in the gamble, he lost everything, including Draupadi. And then, as you know, very big story, just cuts short. At the end, Dhritarashtra realized his mistake. Then he told Draupadi that, my dear daughter, please ask Bone, how can I, rectify the mistake? Then Draupadi, she asked, first Bone, she said, please release Maharaj Yudhishthir. Because Maharaj Yudhishthir had become the servant of Yudhishthir, Duryodhana. She said, release my husband, Yudhishthir Maharaj. And he said, all right. Dhritarashtra said, my dear daughter, you can ask one more boon. I want to give one more boon. And she said, okay, release all my husbands. She didn't ask for kingdom, she didn't ask for anything. Then after that, Dhritarashtra said, ask one more boon. Draupadi said, no. I am a Kshatrani. I am not allowed to ask more than 2 boons. I have got my husband. Whatever is necessary, they will get it. That's it. And as you know, after that, again, second time, there is gambling. And this time, the game was based on any party who is defeated, they will go for 12 years to live in exile, and 1 year they will be incognito. If during this 1 year time the opposite party finds them out where they are, again they will go for 12 more years in the forest. See how tricky the Dhritarashtra and his sons were. So second time, again Pandavas were defeated. So they had to go for 12 years to live in the forest and 1 year in incognito. And after completing 30, they successfully completed their 13 years of exile. Then, they said, okay, everything is enough. Now, they hold a meeting in the Virat Nagar. And it was decided that some people, they said, let us go kill these Kauravas and get the kingdom and give to Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir said, no, it should not happen. Then Maharaj Yudhishthir said, no, we should not take the kingdom like that. So then who is going to convince them? So Satyaki said, Duryodhana is Balaram's disciple. Let Balaram go and talk to Duryodhana. Balaram said, no, I am not going to do that. Satyaki said, why? He's your friend? You don't want to do it? He said, no, he is not going to listen to me, even if he is my disciple. This is what sometimes we see. If some disciples are like that, they don't listen to their guru. What can guru do? Balaram said, no, I am not going to talk to him. Then Balaram said, Krishna is a very expert talker. Krishna should go. And Krishna will be able to find a solution. As you know, Krishna, what he wants to do. Dharma samstapana thaya sambhavani. He's here to annihilate the demons. And when Krishna, he was going as peacemaker, messenger, Draupadi, she opened her hair. And she said to Krishna, she said, Krishna, you are going as a peace messenger, right? Now you see, I haven't tied my hair since then, when I was harassed in the Kuru assembly. Now you should know what to do. Krishna said, my dear sister, don't worry. You know what I am going to do. So that is how when Krishna went, but that also did not succeed, right? Duryodhana said, Bina Yuddhe Nahi Diva Suchakra Melini. Krishna came to a point in discussion, he said, even if you don't want to give them kingdom, give them 5 villages for 5 brothers. Let them remain happy, and you also be happy. Duryodhana said, without fight, I am not going to give them a space that can be occupied by the tip of a needle. Krishna said, okay, thank you very much. Then, as you know, Mahabharata war started. It was a big battle. And everybody left their body. And on 18th day, Duryodhana is lying on the battle and crying. He is not leaving his body. Right? As you know. So, this is where this section starts. It says, Yada mudhe kauravashin dayanam viraspate viragatim gatesu Vikodara vidhagadavi nashra bhagmo rudandya. So, from here, this Bhagavatam continues. So, whatever we have said so far, this is a prelude to what going to continue from here onwards. Okay? So, we have discussed the first 6 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam and also the history behind how we are going to start with this verse on text number 13, which discusses about the precarious condition of Duryodhana on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, at 9 o'clock, we are supposed to end our talk by 9. So, we will conclude here, and tomorrow we will continue our talk from here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta-vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Okay, Mataji, where is our organizer? And today I could not give you any time. I know 9 o'clock will start 9 o'clock. So tomorrow we will have time for question and answer session.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for such an enlightening class. For the devotees, there is an arrangement for prasadam. It's all takeouts. We are not eating here due to COVID protocols. So the prasadam will be served at the exit door. So once you take all your belongings, when you are exiting, you will have the takeouts. Thank you. And tomorrow, please also come at 7 p.m. And take the nectar for the day. Thank you.
So whatever we have discussed so far today, keep meditating on this subject, and tomorrow when you come, I am not going to remind you again, okay? So you should be in your meditation in the deep samadhi to help me continue the next discussion. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna.